we have a number line with the integers here. We have the numbers. The numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3 and goes on the right side, and -1, -2, -3 goes on the left side. But if we have some other kind of numbers like half, how can we represent the half here? Do we have any number like that? We don't have here. We know that the half will be in the middle of 0 and 1, just in the middle of 0 and 1 here, right? Here we will have half in the middle, it is half. But this kind of numbers, this fraction or decimal, these numbers are not included in the integers. So we have to introduce a new name here, new set of numbers here, that is called the rational numbers. Rational numbers are represented with Q. If you can represent the numbers with a ratio, then that number is a rational number. If you can represent the number with a ratio, that will be a rational number. So what is this? Suppose if you have any number that can be written as A on B, that number will be a rational number. So here we have half, we have written it as A on B, A on B, so this is a rational number. We have to remember one thing, A can be any integer. That means A can be any number like 1, 2, 3 or 0 or -1, -2, -3. That means any integer. But B can be any integer other than 0. That means B can be any integer but not 0. Just B cannot be 0. So A can be any integer, B can be any integer other than 0. You have to remember it. So any number that you can write as A on B, that number will be rational number. Now that means 2 on 5 is a rational number, 1 on 3 is a rational number, and 5 on 7 is a rational number, -2 whole and half, it's also a rational number. But you can ask me, how can the integers be rational number? Because they are not ratio. My answer will be, integers are also ratios. Like, you can pick up any integers from here, suppose 2. This 2 can be written as 2 on 1. So any integer can be written as that integer on 1. That means if you don't have anything here, you can think of 1 as a denominator. This is called denominator and this is called numerator, right? As a fraction. So all integers are also fractions like this. So all integers are included in rational numbers. You can write as a decimal also. Half can be written as 0.5. 2 on 5 can be written as 0.4. And 1 whole and 4 on 5, this can be written as 1.8. These numbers, the decimal numbers, we finished the number. After this number there is nothing left. So you have a answer, solid number here also. But sometimes you will have some decimal numbers that goes on forever. Suppose if you have 1 on 3, this is also a rational number because we have written as a ratio. 0.333 and goes on. You can write on forever. So it is also a decimal number that doesn't end, that doesn't terminate. It can be written as 0.3. Over here we can put a small bar here. This bar tells us that there are more 3's after that, but we don't write it here. And what are the difference between these two expressions? Those two expressions are the same meaning. Those two expressions carries the same meaning, but expressions are different. Here we have written some 3's here, and after that we have dots. And here we have only 1 3, and over here we have a small bar here. That means this thing tells us that there are more 3's here we are not writing, and there is no dot after that. Here is dots after that. So those two expressions, both expressions are correct, and we can write in any way. This is called repeating decimal. This is called repeating decimal. When we have some decimals that ends after few digits, that terminates after few digits, that is called terminating decimal. And when we have this kind of numbers, this kind of decimal numbers that repeats after decimal point, some digit repeats itself, that is called repeating decimal. Okay, there are some other kind of repeating decimals also, like you might have 0.25 and so on. That means 25 will repeat. There is a pattern, not only single digit, there is a pattern of repetition. There is a pattern of repetition. So it can be written as 0.25. Okay, that means 25 repeats. This is the pattern. There may be other kind like 4.63288. That means 8 repeats. After few digits, other digit repeats. That is also a repeating decimal. We can write 4.6328 here. Okay. If you have some digits after decimal point, they are not repeating, but after that there is a pattern of repetition. This is also a repeating decimal. All the repeating decimals and terminating decimals are included in rational numbers. What are the terminating decimals? The decimals, those terminates after few digits after decimal point. That means the decimal numbers that ends after few digits after decimal point, those are terminating decimals. And the decimals, those repeats in a pattern. There is a pattern of repetition after decimal point. that is called repeating decimal. So all repeating decimals and terminating decimals are rational numbers. Let's review. The rational numbers include all the numbers that can be written as ratio, all the integers, like maybe it is -10. It is also a rational number because it can be written as -10/1. 5, it can be written as 5/1. Okay. And terminating decimals, that means suppose 1/2, because this 1/2 is a terminating decimal, 0.5. -2.5, it is a terminating decimal. The fraction expression is -2.5. Repeating decimals like 0.333 ... or 0.3 or 5.125 that means it can be written as 5.125. So this is the repeating decimal number. So all the repeating decimal numbers are included in rational numbers. Terminating decimal numbers also included in rational numbers. Integers also included in rational numbers because those can be written as ratio or fraction. Thank you.